experience there is already raising red flags. The initial estimates of how many people would be eligible for the scheme in the ACT were far too low, and some agencies providing services to NDIS clients say they're not being paid enough to make the scheme sustainable. Norman Hermont takes a look at where the trouble may lie ahead as the NDIS starts operating more widely.
Hi Mitch, hello. Annie, come on love. Come on sweetheart.
When her youngest daughter gets home, Leslie Geary's afternoon routine really gets going.
Let me open the gate. Here we go.
Annie is 18 and just finishing school.
Kelsey, would you like a drink? You want a drink? Come on, sit up.
Eldest daughter Kelsey is 22.
Pat the dog nicely.
Son Tully is 24. All three children live with varying levels of intellectual disability.
857 hours is nearly 35 days.
Their mother's not only their primary carer, she's also the manager of their support plans under the NDIS.
What has your family's experience been like with the NDIS?
Oh, it's been positive. The NDIS came along at just the right time. You hungry?
Like many participants in the scheme, Leslie's enthusiasm is dampened by everyday reality. For starters, finding available support workers for her children.
We haven't got a sustainable workforce. Actually getting the workers in and keeping them is not easy. Then through that we log on.
But that's not the biggest problem. This is.
I've already paid the invoice. This is the claim.
Talk to anyone connected to the NDIS, and the web portal is enemy number one.
Enter the amount, enter the category, submit it a couple of days later. In theory, we should be right.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
The NDIS says the portal's improving, but problems continue to plague thousands of people connected to the scheme across the country.
Oh, long day at school.
As frustrating as her experience has been, at least Leslie Geary's children made it in to the NDIS. Around September this year, the scheme temporarily closed in the ACT, the only state or territory where the NDIS is now fully rolled out. The scheme had reached its target number of participants, but after a backlog built up, it did reopen. For groups like Alzheimer's Australia, it's a major concern.
Given the size and scale of the ACT, if we can't sort these issues out here, we have grave concerns about what this means for the rest of the country.
To provide the NDIS in the ACT, the federal and territory governments originally agreed on an estimate of how many people would be eligible, 5,075. Advocacy groups and even the NDIS itself now agree that figure was far too low. If that's repeated across the country, it would mean tens of thousands of people not factored into the scheme's budget of $22 billion.
We're struggling a bit to sort of get information, and I think that's the biggest issue, is that we just don't know.
The ACT government and the NDIA, the agency that runs the NDIS, both declined to talk to us about the estimate blowout. What is clear is that the NDIA recognizes the estimate will have to rise. It says so itself in its own market position statement released in September. It puts the expected eligible participants in the ACT at 6,900, 35% more than the original estimate. The ACT government said in a statement that it's not involved in any renegotiation of these agreements, and that the cost for participants above the target of 5,075 is a Commonwealth responsibility. That's not the way the federal government sees it. The Commonwealth is in negotiations with the ACT around funding arrangements, it said in a statement.
How are you, Dinah?
Danis Eversons was born with cerebral palsy and lives with intellectual and physical disabilities. On weekday afternoons, he's cared for by support workers after he returns home from day programs.
Good. How was that? Good, yeah. Dinah have a big library here as movies. Yes. Hello. Hello, how are you?
His mother says the NDIS has been a life changer for her family.
We were quite concerned before we got the NDIS funding came in and when Danis was getting to the end of school as to what we'd be able to do. Would we have to give up work, one of us? Would we have to go part-time? How it would work? And so when the funding came in and we discovered the providers that are around the ACT, it was a lot of relief.
The support workers who care for Danis are at the center of another emerging NDIS issue in the ACT.
Good afternoon, Just Better Care, this is Sarah.
The majority of this care provider's business is delivering NDIS services. They're hard at work, trying to make sure every care request is filled.
I'm just wondering if you'd be able to help cover a shift today. It's 3 till 6.
That's not really sustainable.
As busy as they are, Just Better Care's CEO and general manager say they're running at a loss because the rates the NDIS pays for services are too low.
Can you give us any idea of the number, let's say, for the last financial year?
$200,000 loss.
They're quitting the part of the scheme where rates are fixed.
You've decided to deregister from the NDIS. What does that mean, and why have you decided to do it?
So by deregistering for those services, an unregistered organisation can charge what they need to charge.
Put your brakes on, Danis?
For example, those workers looking after Danis Eversons, the NDIS sets the basic rate for support work at $43.58 per hour. Just Better Care charges non-NDIS clients $52.80 per hour. Not everyone agrees the rates the scheme pays make it unsustainable. Carolyn Van Til specializes in analyzing the NDIS market. If a provider can't make a go of it, she says, their business model may be to blame.
If you want to aim for success as a provider in the new NDIS world, you need to make sure that you've got the fundamentals of your business right, which is all about cost, it's about workforce, it's about services.
I see you next week again.
Back at Danis Everson's home, his mother says even though his provider is quitting the fixed rate part of the NDIS, she's prepared to pay more to stay with them.
It's hard to change providers. You have to get to know people all over again. They have to get to know you. It's to start the whole thing all over again. Obviously, if you need to, you do it. But if we don't need to, well, then we prefer not to.
The old system was very much, we have the money, this is the program, we can fit you in on a Tuesday and you're going to be bowling. Hello, dogs. Here, chooky, chook, chook, chook.
For all her struggles with the NDIS, Leslie Geary says her family is better off with it than without it.
We're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well. It's chook. It's chook chook, isn't it?